Well, damn, we're not quite back on the daily pace, but again, we're treating this almost like the preseason to NHL 22. We'll get back in the groove when it really counts. I mean, I guess it counts now. We're ready for our next season with this team after a very interesting offseason. A look at the squad, as we're going to probably jump right into simming here today. Tim Stützle, Nico Hischier, and David Pastrnak as the top line. Stanislav Semyonov, Philip Hedl, and Martin Necas. That's a hell of a second line. Third line, Pius Suter, Tomas Hertl, Timo Meier. It's a hell of a third line. Fourth line, Zemgus Girgensons, Radek Faksa, Lars Eller. It's a pretty damn good fourth line. That forward core is fantastic and good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Flat out. Defensively, I don't know. Michael Bondra and Artem Dadonov are the top two. Kempny is with Moritz Seider. Chernak is with Philip Hronek. I'm hopeful. That's all I'll say. I'm hopeful. I tried to have the Detroit boys together, and it doesn't work. We lose a plus, so I didn't. The goaltenders, Vitek Vanacek, Lukáš Parík. And I'm intrigued to see what they do now that we're not exactly aiming for a higher overall guy. The AHL team, of course, is pretty much just a bunch of filler. That's NHL caliber in a way. The one toss-up was what to do with a certain defender that we happened to draft. And with Kopitz, I'm going to wait to sign him because we don't really want to burn a year of his ELC. It's the main reason. We might as well hold on and wait. So Kopitz will not be signed this year. This team is pretty much good to go. We're about to hear back from certain goalie coaches. Bondra is back. Nemechek rejects. One says we have a great environment, and the other says we have a toxic environment. If that's not the most EA thing I've ever seen, or maybe it's just so in-depth that it's like, well, some people think it's a good thing, and other people think that you're toxic, which really sums me up pretty well. It sums up this channel great. Some people think I'm great. Other people think I'm toxic. So, hey, at least the video game is replicating real life, right? So with that, let's sim to the regular season. Oh my god. Screw it, we don't need an AHL goalie coach. I don't care anymore. Maybe we will try to sign someone here in a second because we're going to sim to the beginning of the season. And we'll see where we're at. We host Toronto to start the year. One more attempt. One more. Due diligence. Come on. Even this D- option. Matias Kubina. For the love of God, just sign, please. If he doesn't sign, then I'm done looking. Speaking of looking, I haven't looked at the draft class yet. Let's do that together, shall we? Is there anybody who's going to be available? No. Outside of Ilya Ovechkin. That's it. Damian Hilbert, Pavel Solovyov, Boris Leonov, Kyle Allison. Okay, so there's a lot of mid-round picks that are eligible. There's a Hungarian and Hoyle. A lot of mid-round picks, but whether or not we end up trying to trade up to select any of these guys, very much dependent on who is available at the time and what moves we could make. Obviously, we have a medium elite. Do we know for sure that those young guys in the draft are medium elites to make it worth it? That's the question. So Kubina does sign. In terms of the ratings for this season, we sit at 95, 87, and an 80, which is fantastic, compared to the 94, 86, 86 for the Maple Leafs. So, I mean, we should be a playoff team this year, which means we probably won't be. Let's see what happens, shall we? We'll probably go month by month and take a look at who becomes available, particularly for potential superstars or just very obvious trade pieces that we should pick up. Again, we do have that one medium elite prospect at our disposal. We are 7-2-0 the beginning, the opening month of this season. So let's take a look around the league here, shall we? Goaltending, I don't think we'll ever invest into getting the highest rated goalie that we possibly can, because I don't think it's worth it at this stage based off of how we've seen goaltenders develop. We do still have Gleboff and Riley. Gleboff is getting closer to being NHL caliber, as nice as that is. I still don't know if it's worth trying to pick them up I'll think about it. I feel like it's something I might regret if I don't pick them up, but the problem is we'd probably be looking at a first rounder, our first rounder down the road, and do we really want to commit to giving up another first rounder down the road for medium top 6 talent? I don't think we do. Unfortunately, again, there's really nobody of a high level that's available for us here. Eric Carlson's on the block, Krug and Tyson Barrie. Yeah, there's no top-notch players that we can get right now, which is okay. We'll check again in a month as we continue to see how this team does. David Pastrnak, he doesn't score goals. It's true. I think someone mentioned, like, oh, he's set to a playmaker instead of a sniper because EA. I agree with that. I mean, how David Pastrnak doesn't have one of the top shooting categories and is set as a sniper, I have no idea. Like, that should be a slam dunk. And again, hey, roster editing. Roster editing. Cannot wait. And then hopefully, again, I still don't know at the time of recording because, again, they literally, the people, my friends at EA, continue to tease me. They will not tell me yes or no. And I don't know why. I feel like it's because if they say, no, it's not in the game, that they know I'll be pissed. And I feel like if they say, yes, it is in the game, that I'll just keep asking questions and bothering them. So they won't tell me. But hopefully it's in. And then that way you guys won't have to copy down my information off of a Google Doc. You could just download it. How awesome would that be? Speaking of awesome, I mean, that second line's not doing too great in terms of plus minus, but look at Radek Faxa getting it done. Top pairing isn't abysmal. We must have a really good power play. We're done with Vitek Vanacek. That's official. There's no excuse behind this good of a team to be playing that poorly. Vitek Vanacek is done. To be honest, we'll use the trade finder and just see what the hell we can get. And Parich will be our goaltender. Because why not? And we'll probably call up Ustimenko. Ooh, maybe not. What about Sjogard? I guess we'll go with Ustimenko. And probably sign Kaleta. Vitek Vanacek, you're gone, buddy. You are gone. And it reset my trade block. So let's just go open. Third and a sixth from Calgary. Third and a fourth from Colorado. I'm going to guess there's no second rounders available. There are not. So we'll take that third and fourth from Colorado. Split up over the next couple of years. We'll move on from Vanacek. We will give Kirill Ustimenko the opportunity at the NHL level. And again, we'll sign that other goalie. Probably should have signed him first, but we'll give him a chance as well. So Ustimenko, Parich, we'll see what happens with those two. And of course, I would have just signed a random guy. Franklin Street. Take a left, Franklin Street, go down the main street, bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a better goalie. Let's go with Kaleta, who I had a feeling we were going to end up signing once we drafted him. So we'll get him into the AHL with Sjogard. And like I said, I mean, it's been kind of the theme of this game, right? Like, why bother spending any, allocating any money to a high-level goalie when you just know that goalies in this game are a complete goddamn toss-up. Like, truly they are. It's insane. I mean, it'd be nice if it was worth getting a Vasilevsky in every franchise mode to feel like it increases your chances, but really it doesn't feel like it increases your chances whatsoever. Now, we still have a winning record, 21-14-2 as of the beginning of January. Welcome to 2024. We are in second place in our division. Pastrnak leading the team in points, also picking up the pace in terms of goal scoring. Parich, Lucas isn't doing so well either, and Ustimenko played one game and was trash. I did just realize that auto-rotate must be off. Unfortunately, I don't think I remembered to turn it on after the playoffs, and indeed it is off. Still, it doesn't quite excuse the poor goaltending. We're still in a half-decent spot, but I am now officially a little bit worried about the state of our goaltending this season. Again, has anybody been added? You still have... Man, Glebov keeps getting better. So does Jarvis. Those guys could be really good for the third line here in the future. I think I might have to pull the trigger on making that deal happen. Zibanejad's Swedish, but still wishful thinking. Tierney, Philip Deneau, Ryan Ellis, Will Butcher, Hamilton and Trouba. It's really tough to not want to go after those younger forwards. And right now, again, nobody else is available. I'm going to go with my gut here and try to get Gleboff and Riley back. I think they can be pretty useful. The draft pick we'd give up is in 2029. It's 5 years from now. I'd like to think, as they already have one of our picks, but I'd like to think if we had to kind of change course that we could do that. Let's see if we can get our own second rounder back in this deal. All right, cool, we did. So we get those two prospects and our own second rounder back for a first rounder way down the road, which I'm a pretty big fan of that. I think that works out pretty well, especially with how valuable second round picks are. We do need to go down to the AHL and make sure these young guys are in the lineup. So it does put in Gleboff by default. Studnik has half decent chem, but we can't afford to leave him in. And of course he's a center. We'll get Riley in there as well. And let's play them with Thomas Yurko. And then, yeah, goaltending-wise should be good. Sjogard's crushing it at the AHL level. Park is really struggling. We're going to give him a little bit of time because of what he did in the playoffs, but not that much more, unfortunately. He really needs to prove himself over this next month. And about time we start slipping out of a playoff spot, it might be Mad Sjogard time. So we lose 2 in a row there. It's a lot more win-loss than I'd prefer it to be. Not really going on that many streaks. We have dropped to 3rd in the division, 10 points behind Toronto. It's still got to be the goaltending primarily, right? Yeah. And Ustimenko hasn't done anything either. Well, that certainly makes things difficult. We're just not getting good goaltending this season, no matter what the hell we do. Ustimenko would be on waivers. He doesn't really have trade value, so if we lose him, whatever. I'm going to try to send them both down to the AHL, and we're going to do a swap. Sjogard and Coletta are going to get the call-up. Ustimenko did not get claimed. Congrats to Mad Sjogard. We're going to see if he can be the starter. And if he can't be, then yes, we'll have to figure out something with our goaltenders. But again, we've seen it. Like, just because you have a high-rated goalie doesn't mean a goddamn thing. So we have time to figure this out. Right now, we are trying to exhaust all of our present options. It makes me so sad that Patrice Bergeron's just staying there. Goalie-wise, oh boy, I was hoping somebody would still be available for us to sign. Thomas Greiss looks to be the best option, as shitty as that is. Yeah, Ville Husso's finished. Grosnick, Fitzpatrick, Tokarski, Adam Werner. Yeah, Dan Vladar could be the guy. So, I mean, what, we have 4 goalies signed now. Just in case, let's see if we can sign Thomas Greiss for the rest of the season. And Dan Vladar. And we'll see what happens. You know, we'll have them sitting in the AHL, just kind of waiting in the wings, if need be. I think we don't really have the assets to give up, right? To go out and try to get anybody that's better. That said, it is the first of the month. Let's again take a look around the league. Like, I refuse to trade assets to get a goaltender at this point. Whoops, didn't mean to be on our page there. So, again, I don't remember if I had looked through this yet or not. I don't think I had. It looks different, at least. If I'm looking through this again, because my short-term memory is apparently garbage. I'm getting old. Then, hey, sorry, but you never know. I don't remember Duclair being there, but maybe he was. And maybe it's just me hoping that, honestly, sometimes that's happened. I've signed free agents, and then all of a sudden teams are like, hey, this guy's on the market now. It makes no sense, but it happens. Pretty sure I didn't see Carson Lambos available before, and then Samu Curry as well, so I don't think I had checked. But again, unfortunately, there's just nothing there. I mean, I don't think Edmonton's going to get desperate enough to try to trade Draisaitl, but it was kind of my hope. It's my only way that I could really get him in this series, unless we wait until he's a free agent. So we'll sim midway through the month. Vladar signs. Greiss signs. We have other goalie options. And we won 3 in a row. We got a decent little point streak going with Mad Shogard. How do you like that? Now just 5 points back of the Leafs. Pasternak's crushing it. Oof, 896. We are winning in spite of Mad Shogard's performance so far. Figure that one out. Stutzel's a beast. Hischier's a beast. Pasternak's a beast. Semyonov, 42 points. You got Hedel and Natchez. I mean, this team can put up points. It's almost as if like the game is trying to counterbalance. Like, we're so good in terms of putting up points. So I'm going to drop Michael Kempny for Chernak. It's like we're so good at putting up points that the game's like, okay, well, then you have to have shitty goaltending. Even if, by definition, in terms of overall, we have shitty goaltending, but you get the point. Again, we'll look here one more time before deadline day. Nicoletti's out there. Hannafin. These two aren't available, though. If only it was a different series. Or man, Carolina is just trying to move on from anybody that's not a top-notch prospect, apparently. And that Ukrainian was Kabanov, so he wasn't available. Or he was available, but he was trash. Zibanejad Duclair still out there. Ryan Ellis, Will Butcher. Anze Kopitar. Not that we need help, but he is on an expiring deal. And he's having a pretty good season. We might have to explore that. Not that I really want to mess with this team, but a nice little rental of Anze Kopitar. I mean, granted, Matt Zuccarello's out there too. He's having a fucking dynamite year in Pittsburgh. Nobody there that we would want, unfortunately. Lambos and Curry still. Honestly, I think our offense is stacked enough, and we really wouldn't want to give up value to bring Anze back, even though, you know, he was probably our first really good player in this series, but already we've evolved beyond kind of the need for an Anze Kopitar. I mean, where the hell would we even play him? 4th line? I mean, because 3rd line, we'd have to drop P.S. Suter down. We're definitely going to list ourselves as buyers, and we will enter deadline day and see what's out there. And, you know, again, unfortunately, I just don't think that we're really going to have anybody out here that we would want or that's even eligible for us to get. Of course, Tommy Goddard as a random generating guy ended up being an American. You never know with some of these names. No such luck. Dylan Larkin is out there. He's Norwegian, right? Please. PK's still out there. All the players on Carolina. We got nothing, man. Yeah, we got nothing. It's a shame. But nobody is willing to move. Anybody to help make this happen. It's Edmonton trying to get rid of Savoy. You could argue it'd be worth picking up Savoy to like flip him, but I wouldn't want to get stuck with him on the roster. We've kind of had that incident occur already. I mean, there are players in terms of overall that are available, but in terms of potential or trade value, it's just not there. Steven Stamkos is on the market. Craziness. All right. Yeah, it's pretty much nothing then in terms of crazy value. I mean, again, like the only other guy that's really out there is like a Draisaitl, but he is unacquirable. Skol Sillinger and Lindbergh. Only Mata's on the move. Yeah, we got nothing, man. We got nothing. We might as well check goalies just to make sure. But I mean, the idea of like going out and getting like a Kopitar, it's like, how much does it really help the team? If the team is not good enough as it is, then we really shouldn't be giving up assets. And from the looks of it, there are also no goalies that I'd really want. There's this guy named Rathje, but he's Canadian. He was also pretty low overall, given the potential. Wakabayashi, American. That's a shame. That's it. We got absolutely nothing at deadline day. Nothing to work towards. Unlike last year with the David Pastrnak acquisition, there is just nothing. Absolutely nothing to work on. For shits and gigs, I do like, though, that, like, I can just be like, oh, hey, Noah Hannafin, what would it take to get him, right? Like, I do like that you can do that for deadline. You don't have to go into proposed trade to work a deal. But, like I said, there is just nothing there. Nobody's listed as off the market. Basically, very few trades have happened. Well, my hope is that we could wait it out and then all of a sudden there'd be different moves available. I just don't see it happening. Is there anything we can do in terms of like killing time? Because we have, we got a lot of mid or late picks, excuse me. We should be able to trade up in the draft. There is maneuverability here to get rid of some of the crap. No disrespect to these players, but let's call a spade in exchange for draft picks. PK Subban's on the move to Ottawa. We'll actually just go to the trade finder. I guess that's what I'll do for the moment. Just out of pure desperation. Goodness, we'll see what the hell we can get. If, the AI aren't even going to be interested in trying to make it happen that way. We're going to have to do that manually. I'm really hoping some more big dominoes fall here so we have a chance. Boston with a trade. Weston Earl and Agostini from Marcus Nunivara. Oof. We'll keep Andronov. We'll get rid of Miura. We'll get rid of Kravchenko. We'll get rid of Emelin. We'll just keep Rogalski and Andronov in case they develop. And defensively, of course, Zucker is still there. And obviously the hope is that somehow, some way, we'd be able to work out a deal to make a move. I just don't see it as happening. But we'll try to nickel and dime our way into some extra draft picks here. Third rounder will probably be too much. It is, but you got to figure what we spent to get these guys. Even a fourth rounder would be pretty good. So there we go. We'll take a fourth rounder from Anaheim for a whole bunch of nothing, just to try and give us a little bit more maneuverability. Now, Kopitz hasn't improved at all in terms of overall. As Vegas trades a first rounder, huh? Savage is a 68 overall at 20 years old. That's an interesting player. I actually think we'll hold on to him. Same thing here, honestly. Let's just look to acquire a fourth. We'll get our own fourth back, maybe a fourth and a sixth. Yeah, so it turns out we could have gotten another deal back. Actually, we might have been able to get a little bit more there. But still, the key is a fourth rounder. And then in terms of unsigned, again, we'll keep Savage. The other three can go. And most of these guys can just go. Let's be honest. What about a fourth next year and a fifth this year? Cool. I mean, again, thirds aren't likely to happen from the looks of it, but we're doing all right to bounce back here. Just get rid of basically everybody who we have no confidence in them developing, which is basically everybody that we've drafted. Get a bunch of picks from a bunch of different teams. Yeah, the third won't happen, but a fourth and a fifth, a fourth and a sixth, that's not a bad deal. Yeah, a fourth and a fifth didn't go through on that one, so it really does depend on who's in the trade. We'll take that fourth and a sixth from Buffalo. Just get rid of all that excess crap from the draft. Yoshida doesn't look that bad. Gill might not also be that bad either. Let's see if we can get anything for these two, even if it's a fifth. Yeah, it might have to be a fifth. It went down to a sixth. I don't even care. Let's just take it. So we get rid of a lot of extra junk. We do have a lot of picks in this draft. And actually, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 19 picks. Let's move on from some of the sevenths just to make sure we don't accidentally end up with too many picks. What if we just do it for a fifth for Montreal? Oh man, that many sevenths for just a sixth is pretty rough, but we'll do it. We'll do it. That's okay. Just to make sure we don't end up with too many picks. Nothing's going to happen, I don't believe, in terms of the players that are available. So it's a bit of a bust at the deadline. We move ahead to the rest of this season. I mean, it's the end of February. We're in a playoff spot. It would be tragic. We'd have to fall... we'd have to squander a 9-point lead on Columbus. And it would really be like New Jersey or Pittsburgh that could push for it. Everyone else is pretty far out. So we're almost guaranteed a playoff spot. We've been on a really good run. Sjogard has an incredible winning record despite not doing that well. We have the veteran goalies in a way, at least compared to these guys that could be called up. Bondra's now an 87. What a beast. Kempny is still struggling a bit. I think the big question right now, do we sign Kopitz? He doesn't appear to be improving. I think we sign him and give him a chance at the NHL level. I get that we're winning, but I'm a little bit worried about Michael Kempny. I think we have some interesting moves here. Next episode, rest of the season, probably the start of the playoffs as well.